Among the various schools and trends that have shown their high evolutionary effectiveness in relation to human consciousness, a special place belongs to Gnosticism. Flaring up brightly at the turn of the new era, this collection of schools flourished for only a couple of centuries, after which it went to the periphery and is now almost forgotten. And yet, during its existence, Gnosticism produced such a number of highly realized and fully accomplished masters, like no other trend, except, perhaps, Vajrayana. Like Buddhism, Gnosticism is not strictly speaking a religion or philosophy. It is a special technology for achieving the highest state, which in this case is called Gnosis or knowledge. The study of the views of Gnostic schools is surprising, and sometimes confusing due to the complexity and diversity of their cosmogonic and theological descriptions, the verbosity of their classifications, and the intricacy of their connections. Nevertheless, if we take into account that the early Gnostics were just learning to interpret and organize the completely new spiritual experience that had come to them, then such verbosity and diversity become understandable. Similarly, early quantum physics, while developing its terminology, not only learned new descriptions but also a completely new way of thinking, producing numerous whimsical terms, attributing charm, color, fragrance, and so on to elementary particles. So, Gnosticism is a special technology of consciousness development that emerged when people discovered the possibility of direct ascent up the column of wisdom of the tree of life. Before that, practically all the highly achieved perfections moved either by the path of understanding or by the path of knowledge, coming, accordingly, to the highest wisdom, Bina, Tevuna, or, as the Gnostics said, Synesis, or to absolute knowledge, Hokmah, Sophia. But as a result of a certain mystical enlightenment, the path to the abyss was opened, and it became possible to achieve the highest wisdom of Dhat, in the language of the Gnostics, Barbalu, great extension, or Pranoia, first thought. It's difficult to say whether this path was discovered independently by Hellenistic Semites or leaked from the Hermetic schools of Egypt, but its technologies confronted seekers with an abyss, and at the same time, with the secret wisdom, the great demon, and the boundless gap. The approach of the Gnostics consisted of a method known as riding the dragon, which was practiced in the East by Taoists as subduing desire. The idea is to create the maximum difference in potential between desire and its embodiment, which throws consciousness through the veil of Keshet. This approach was then transformed into the asceticism of the Hesychasts and the purity of the Cathars, giving rise to the entire spectrum of Christian mysticism, and among the Gnostics, it was pure God-seeking, a fiery striving of sparks towards their source. However, after passing Keshet and crossing Paraket, the Gnostic continued on and, encountering the luminaries, Hierophants, plunged into the interval where his main search and his main battle took place. Here he had to overcome the bonds of the blind God and find the absolute light of Pranoia. At the same time, his own, heated by practice, light, Epinoia, merged with the Mother-Father, the androgynous Pranoia, Barbalu. Thus, in its soft form, the dualism of the Gnostics is not only the opposition of the highest God, the Father Kita, but also the union of this Father with the first thought, gazing into the darkness. Thus, Gnosticism is a technology of enlightenment based on the search and identification of the sources of one's desires, the distillation of their driving energies, and the release of light-bearing principles. To do this, the practitioner should look into the heart of their darkness, meet the darkest demons and evil gods, and, without succumbing to them, emerge pure and immaculate to the radiance of the higher silent and formless wisdom. The entire diversity of schools, teachings, and views of Gnosticism are different attempts to adapt this technology to the specific needs of individual seekers, as well as to interpret the experience that arises when encountering the veils and abysses that make up the main part of their path. Today, when the experience of interacting with the interstice is once again widely entering human life, Studying the knowledge and approaches developed by the Gnostics 2,000 years ago can provide invaluable support and serve as a survival guide in the conditions of the expansion of forces of the interworld.